welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today we're here to talk about Realmathon. Before we start anything, let me tell you what Realmathon is, because if you watch my channel and not Cassidy's, then you might not know. Realmathon is a competitive team-based readathon that Covers with Cassidy, aka Cassidy, came up with, and this is the fourth version of Realmathon. So Realmathon kind of follows this story of we're all people living in Carry-On City. Kind of think Crescent City, very urban, and all of the people are being asked to pledge to a family, like one of the big guns in Carry-On City, you know? So I have pledged to Team Stag. The people who are hosting are just lovely. It is Tori at Tori Between Pages and Rachel at Raven Haired Reader. I'm very pumped to read alongside of them and do our best to represent the Stags. Every book that you read can be used to either attack another family or to defend yourself, which gets your family points. And there are a ton of different prompts. Like, guys, literally anything you read could fit prompts for this readathon. And that's the way I'm kind of going to go about it. I do not want to pressure myself into burnout by like just trying to compete and only read books that fit the highest prompts. Instead, I'm reading what I want to read, and I am going to work the system to my benefit so that I can still enjoy reading, but also enjoy the really fun community and competition that this readathon encourages. With Team Stag, I actually get 2 bonus prompts. So if my books have one or both of these things, I get extra points. The first one is a non-human main character, and the second one is it has plants on the cover. You also will get an additional 10 points if the book that you are reading is in an urban setting. I made the mistake of thinking this meant like modern, but it just means like a heavily populated city. I'm so excited about this next thing because I do have some chunky books on my TBR. You get points for page totals. So the more pages your book, the more points that you can get to help your team. Now guys, I was organized. I have my realm of possibilities all written down on my iPad, so I'm gonna go through those. I do have 3 books I absolutely must read, and then everything else falls into this realm of possibilities. So let's just get into the books that I would like to read in March. Starting out strong, my Patreon book club pick this month for the Magical Menagerie is The Will of the Many by James Islington. I plan to go pick this up this weekend, and I'm really bummed about the new cover change, but I am going to get it so that the rest of my copies in this series will match. I don't know much about this. I don't know what the actual plot is, but I know world building wise, you have different levels of people, and the people at the bottom level can like cede their will to the people in the top level, and it goes up and up and up, and that's kind of how society is run. I don't know about the main character. I don't know about the plot. I just know that I'm probably really going to like it based on other people who have liked it and the rave reviews that I have heard. Speaking of which, for each of these books that I go through, I'm going to give you 1 or 2 prompts that they would fit for Realmathon. I don't want to give too much of my strategy away, but I will share some prompts that these fit. This book was one of Mel's favorites in 2023. She gave it 5 stars, and picking a book that another host has given 5 stars is one of the prompts. The next book on my must-read list is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I love Jurassic Park. I hear the do-do-do-do-do. I hear that and like it makes me want to tear up. I love Jurassic Park so much, but I have never read the book. And I was asked by my friend Elise at Literately Elise to co-host her book club for the month of March. She runs a book club called the Libernauts Book Club. I'm actually supporting their merch right now. Let me show ya. Libernauts. And we picked Jurassic Park for March. The live show discussion will be in April, and I am just really excited to read this dinosaur-driven book that also has lots of conversations on ethics and morals and doing the responsible thing for our environment. And I cannot wait to jump into this. I think I'm really, really going to love it. This book fits a very specific prompt, and that is having all of the vowels used between the author and the title of the book, and between Jurassic Park and Michael Crichton. Every single vowel is used, so this will be an extra 5 points for my team. The last book that is on my must-read list is The Grace Year by Kim Leggett. This is another one that I don't own, but it is on Kindle Unlimited, so that's how I will be reading it. Another book I don't know that much about. It was picked for my In Real Life book club last session, which I was unable to attend, but I do know it's dystopian, and it deals with sending girls away when they kind of hit like sexual maturity. I think that I will fly through it more than likely, especially if it's on my Kindle. This is going to count as a bonus prompt for my team, because if you look closely at the cover, cover, we have this girl, but we have some flower line art going on around her, so it does have a plant on the cover. I haven't read a dystopian book in a long time, so I'm actually kind of really looking forward to this one. I also think it'll give us lots of conversation points at book club. All right, now those were all of my must-reads. Let's talk about my possibilities now. Some of these are very ambitious, but that is why kind of having a pile of possibilities is fun. I can work the system to my benefit. If I'm not feeling something, I can read something else. And that's what's going to make March a good month for me. The first book is a book that has been on the past 2 TBRs. I started it in January, then Onyx Storm came out, and then February has just been really tough on me mentally to dive into something dense. I'm really looking forward to getting to this one in March. That is A Feather So Black by Lyra Celine. This is the first book in, I forget the name of this series, the Fair Folk series. And this book follows our main character. Her name is Fia, and she is a changeling. So she is from the Fae realm, but the Fae brought her into the human realm when she was a baby and exchanged her for a human princess. So she is Fae, which means it's going to count as a non-human main character for me. But in this book, her human mother decides that it's time to send her back to the Fae realm to try and rescue the original human princess. She takes along a companion who is rather good looking, and she has some history with, who also happens to be betrothed to the human princess. So you can sense lots of drama there. And she also has a very cool plant magic. And if you look on the cover, we do have some ivy and some plants on the cover. So this fits prompts for both of my team prompts. I'm really excited to get to it. I got about 14% in January, and I really loved the writing. I'm excited to read this one. It's probably going to be one of my first reads of the month. Now, when I was talking about ambitious, that's where this next book comes in. It's probably very unrealistic that I'm going to get to this book considering how long it is and how much of an investment it is, but let me just talk, okay? So I'm currently reading Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, which is the second book in the Farseer trilogy. This is a big book, and Assassin's Quest, the third book, is even bigger. So am I going to get to Assassin's Quest in March? It's not likely, but I would really, really like to continue the series as soon as possible. So again, this is the one I'm reading now, but Assassin's Quest, I don't know why these titles are so hard for me to get right, is the next book, and so it's the next on my list to read. It's a maybe, right? And it does have a morally gray main character because Fitz, like, he's a good old boy, but he's an assassin. Eventually, I'm going to get to it. It's on the pile of possibilities. We'll see. Now, there is a weekend during Realmathon called the Gala of Peace, and it is a 48-hour readathon where every book you read counts an additional 10 points. I have a couple of shorter romances that I would like to try and get to during this weekend for those additional 10 points. All of the other prompts still count. The first book that I would like to get to during that weekend is The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson. I picked this up last year, but was specifically saving it for baseball season. And as you can see, we've got grass on the cover. Grass is definitely a plant, and also favorite trope can also be a prompt that can get you some points. And I love a sports romance. So I'm excited for this one. You can see it's not too long, but this is a baseball romance. We have a girly girl who doesn't really like baseball, and she is heckling the baseball players at a game she goes to. She reaches out over Instagram DM to apologize, and he takes interest in her. Also, I don't know why he looks like Roy Kent. So first possibility for Gala of Peace weekend. The second possibility for Gala of Peace is a book called Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowles. I don't have that book, but I am reading the first in the series right now, which is called Fragile Sanctuary. These are romantic suspense books. I am really, really enjoying this one and would like to continue on in the series. As you can see, all of her covers for this series are pretty similar, and there are definitely some watercolor trees on this cover. So I think continuing on in this series is going to get me some more bonus points for plants on the cover. And romantic suspense reads so fast. So I will put a picture of the actual copy of Delicate Escape up. I also think her books are on KU, but I mean, I couldn't pass up these editions, so I'm collecting them, you know. But here's another potential for Gala of Peace weekend. And then one that I know I'm going to get to for Gala of Peace. It's not going to give me like any points for page count, but that is The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. This is a short story that she wrote. It's available on Kindle Unlimited and Amazon First Reads. Don't know what it's about. It's Abby Jimenez, and so I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna get those 10 extra points, and I'm gonna fly through it because it's only 84 pages. Up next, this is one I have on audio. Audiobook is a prompt, and it also has 2 people on the cover, which is a prompt, and that is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I have never read a Sally Rooney book, but this one comes so highly recommended by so many different types of people in my life. My sister-in-law loved it. I actually got the audiobook from her. So many friends who like solely read romantasy say that this is one of their favorite books. My friend Brittany, this is one of her favorite books, and so it's finally time for me to pick it up. My sister-in-law actually gave me this copy for Christmas too, and we're just following kind of a toxic relationship between these two people, and I don't know anything else except that Sally Rooney doesn't use quotation marks, which is why I'm thankful to have the audiobook. This one is beloved by so many people, and I think it's finally time for me to add it to my read bookshelf. The final book is Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor, and this is actually my friend Brittany at Books with Brittany's Patreon book club pick for the month of March. I hope I get to it in March, but if I don't get to it in March, I'm definitely going to read it at the beginning of April. She does spoiler vlogs for her book club picks, so we don't always have a discussion, so I don't feel like pressure to get it read right away. I've ordered this book from Aardvark, which makes me so excited. I used an Aardvark credit on it because their books just feel so good. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm a very sensory person, and the texture of their books just makes it so fun to read. But what is this book about? I'm going to read you the description because I don't know. It says, life has thrown Zelu some curveballs over the years, but when she suddenly dropped from her university job and her latest novel is rejected, all in the middle of her sister's wedding, her life is suspended. Disabled, unemployed, and from a nosy, high-achieving, judgmental family, she's not sure what comes next. In her hotel room that night, she takes the risk that will define her life. She decides to write a book very unlike her others. A science fiction drama about androids and AI after the extinction of humanity, and everything changes. What follows is a tale of love and loss, fame and infamy, of extraordinary events in one world and another. And as Zelu's life evolves, the lines between fiction and reality begin to blur, because sometimes a story really does have the power to reshape the world. It's set in our world, and it starts out set in an urban setting, because I believe she's a professor in Chicago, so there's a check mark for that. But also we have a sister, which is another prompt, a character who has a sibling. We're like venturing into sci-fi and like the blending of the worlds. I don't know. Everything about it sounds really, really good and so different from things that I normally read. So I'm very pumped to have this one on my to get to soon list. Are there other books I might pick up instead of these? Sure, it's March. We're gonna mood read when we can. And as long as I get those like must read books read, anything else I pick up is just going to be points, you know? Points, points, points. Books are points. And more than anything, I'm just really excited to participate in Realmathon. I will leave every link to every creator that I mentioned in this video linked below. That way you can find out information about Realmathon. You can find out information about my friend Brittany's Patreon if you want to. And overall, I'm just really excited for what is shaping up to be a good month in March. If you're participating in Realmathon, please let me know what team you're on. You can drop me an emoji or you can just tell me the team. And if you're not, tell me what book you are most excited to pick up in March. And I will see you in another video very soon. Bye, guys.